Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Fonzie, and welcome to another edition of Cal Football 89. California suffered its first home loss of the season yesterday, and its fourth in 6 games overall. 10th-ranked USC took care of the Golden Bears at Memorial Stadium by the score of 31-15. After a USC punt, Cal began its first possession on its 20, and its first possession began promisingly enough. Troy Taylor hooks up with Michael Smith along the near sideline. The play's worth 14 yards to the California 34. Here it's 3rd and 12 from the 32. Taylor buys time to his left, then connects with Mike Ford for 16 yards and another first down at the Cal 48. But on the next play, Taylor misfires down the middle, and SC safety Mark Carrier collects the interception at the Trojans' 32. Carrier returns at 14 yards. This was the first of 3 interceptions by the Trojans. SC would convert the turnover into a score. Here on 1st and 10 from the Cal 30, Leroy Holt bolts up the middle for 13 yards to the 17. 4 plays later, the Trojans had a 1st and goal at the 6. Ricky Irvins takes the pitch out, but Dwayne Jones takes out Irvins. The loss of 1 after an incompletion. USC was looking at 3rd and goal. And Todd Marinovich was looking to throw to the end zone, but good coverage by the Cal secondary forces Marinovich to try and find another receiver. The Bears then forced Marinovich out of the pocket and nail him at the 5. The Trojans were then nailed with a dead ball personal foul penalty that moved the ball back to the 20. SC called on Quinn Rodriguez to kick a 37-yard field goal. Rodriguez was up to the challenge, and SC had a 3-0 lead. That's the way the first quarter would end. The Bears stopped a USC drive early in the second quarter, but the Trojans would pin Cal inside its own 1-yard line. Mark Preston's punt is down just in front of the goal line. The Bears then gained only 2 yards in 3 plays. After a Robbie Keane punt, the Trojans started their next possession at the Cal 32. And faster than you can say, 1-play drive, SC was in the end zone. Marinovich lofts one to Gary Wellman. Wellman barely stays in bounds and in possession of the football. After the extra point, SC was in possession of a 10-point lead. Now keep practicing the term 1-play drive. After the kickoff, Cal had the ball at its own 25. Taylor looks to the right, then throws long down the left side for Brian Treggs. Just like that, the Bears were on the scoreboard. The 75-yard pass was the second longest in Taylor's career. He and Treggs described the touchdown.
The play was a power pass, and throughout the week we've been noticing in film that Mark Carrier comes up when the receiver comes across the middle. Well, my eyes did light up at the situation because when I came out there, I saw that, it was the right coverage that we wanted. And, only thing left to do was to execute the play. And, Troy threw a great ball, and on the other hand, I came up with the catch, and, it was a touchdown.
They're very aggressive in the secondary, and I hope I roll, half roll to the right and kind of look over to the right and hopefully get the safety to buy it in and have the corner sit on the 6th route, and then he goes right by him, and that's exactly what happened. Brian ran an excellent route, and I got great time, was back there all by myself, and I was able to put the ball where it needed to be put.
Keane's point after brought the Bears to within 3 points, but it took USC just 3.5 minutes to build its lead back to 10. Here on 1st and 10 from the Trojans' 34, Irvins gobbles up 11 yards to the 45. On the next play, Marinovich throws the bomb down the near sideline for John Jackson. The Trojans' career reception leader makes the catch. Good for 40 yards all the way down to the California 15. Holt gained 5 yards on first down. Then on 2nd and 5, Marinovich releases his pitch out just before he gets belted. Irvins takes the ball and darts into the end zone. After the PAT, the scoreboard now read Southern Cal 17, California 7. After an exchange of punts, Cal began a drive at its own 39. Taylor drops back and connects with Ford. 25-yard completion, and the Bears were in USC territory at the 36. After 2 incompletions, the Bears had a 3rd and 10. Taylor turns the quarterback draw into a first down. He hustles for 14 yards to the 22. 2 plays later, it was 3rd and 14 at the 26. Taylor avoids the pressure and moves to the right, but his pass is off target and into the arms of SC linebacker Junior Seau. Seau returns the pick to the Trojans' 29. What looked to be at least 3 points for Cal would soon become 7 for USC. The Trojans needed just 5 plays to march 71 yards. Mariucci and Wellman combined for 28 yards here on the opening play of the drive. SC was already in Bear territory at the 43. Now it's 2nd and 7 from the 40. Mariucci has all day to throw, and he finally dumps one to Holt. The short pass turns into a 15-yard completion. On the next play, Irvins rolls for 18 yards to the 7. The Trojans rolled up 343 yards of total offense in the first half. Cal defensive tackle Rhett Hall said while USC deserved a lot of credit, the Bear defense did not play its best.
Obviously today, we killed ourselves. We were playing a great football team, and we didn't play like we can play. We didn't keep the game close like we should have. A lot of missed tackles, giving up the big play. Mariucci was back there. He had time and time and time just to throw the ball. No pressure on the quarterback. So, just stuff like that.
On 1st and goal, Mariucci keeps it on the option, and he keeps going to the end zone. With just under a minute to go in the half, Southern California led by 17. The Bears made a bid to close the gap in the final seconds of the quarter. On 1st and 10 from their own 34, Taylor swings one to freshman Greg Zomalt. Zomalt goes upfield to the 50. On the next play, Taylor and Zomalt combine again, this time for 15 yards to the Trojan 35. With 1 second left in the half, the Bears were back at the SC 41. So Robbie Keane tried what would have been a school record 58-yard field goal. Keane's kick had plenty of distance, but it was just off to the right. So the teams went off the field with the Trojans holding a 24-7 advantage. USC had 2 huge advantages in the halftime stats, and the 2 stats have a distinct correlation. The Trojans held the ball for nearly 21.5 minutes, and they outgained California 343 yards to 185. We'll have the second half action in a moment.
Cal Football 89, brought to you in part by Unical 76, inviting you to go with the spirit of 76. Extra Gold Draft, the party time beer with a full tilt taste. The 1990 Acura Legend and Integra, exclusively at your Northern California Acura dealers.
Hey, Party Monsters! Why, they're beer in about 30 seconds. Got some party time tips for you from Extra Gold Draft. First, never party with anything less than the full tilt taste of Extra Gold. This is big time beer. Tip number 2, you're at the bar. You're a little short of cash. Be resourceful. Welcome, folks. We got a $3 cover charge tonight.
Go for the full tilt taste of Extra Gold.
It's party time.
When you were a kid, you wanted your bike to sound like a car. Nowadays, you'd like your car to be as quiet as that old bike. So use a gasoline that can do a better job quieting knocks, one that's 2 octane higher than regular unleaded. Unical's 89 octane.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hi, Murph.
Pitched a great game last night.
Gee, thanks.
One. 2, 3, 4. The 4-door Acura Integra, because growing into your future doesn't mean giving up your past. Test drive the sports car that fits a full life. Acura. For 3 straight years, #1 in overall customer satisfaction.
Nobody does it like you. They try to, they no can do. You set the standard, what's the stake? You set the record that nobody breaks. Nobody does it like you and Channel 5.
Family Feud, weekdays at 4 on 5.
Cal received the second half kickoff, but had to punt after 3 plays. We'll pick up the highlights on USC's ensuing possession. After 2 plays, the Trojans needed to make less than a yard to get a first down. Leroy Holt needed just a few seconds to get a touchdown. He breaks free at the line of scrimmage and is gone. 55 yards in all. After the PAT, the Trojans were cruising 31-7. Holt gained 160 yards yesterday. Irvin's collected 124, but here on SC's next possession, Dan Slavin collects Irvin, and it's a loss of 4 yards back to the California 26. A holding penalty then pushed the Trojans out of field goal range, and SC would have to punt. The Trojans pin Cal back on its own 3-yard line and quickly regain possession. On first down, Taylor throws to the left side, but Dwayne Garner slices for the interception. The brother of former Cal running back Dwight Garner put the Trojans in business at the Cal 13. There was some extracurricular business after the play, but Brian Trigg says that's almost expected when these two schools get together.
So you're going to have to expect, fights and things like that when we play SC because the intensity in the game. And furthermore, we're not going to let anyone come in here, our stadium, and control the game. We can't let them push us around. We can't take nothing off of them.
The double dead ball penalties left SC with a 1st and 11 at the 14. After an incompletion on first down, Rhett Hall stops Irvins for a loss of 2. Another incompletion brought the Trojans field goal team on. But Ron English would block the kick. After a wild scramble, holder John Jackson attempts a desperation pass. He's called for intentional grounding, and the Bears would get the ball at the Southern Cal 44. Then Zomalt picked up 15 yards on this second down draw play. California had another first down at the SC 33. On the next play, Taylor hits tight end Brent Woodall for 13 yards to the 20. And then Cal made it 3 first downs in 3 plays. Anthony Wallace slices for a dozen yards to the 8. Now it's 2nd and goal from the 8. Taylor can't escape the rush this time, and Dan Owens records one of the Trojans' 5 sacks. Taylor had high praise for the SC defensive line.
They put a lot of pressure on me today, and that's why they're a great team. They're able to put pressure on the defensive line. They got great linebackers and an excellent secondary. So they're extremely quick on the defensive line, probably one of the better ones in the nation.
Cal would turn the ball over on downs, and the third quarter would end with SC up by 24. The Trojans had to punt on the 3rd play of the 4th quarter, and Treggs does a nice job on the return. He picks up 17 yards, and the Bears begin a drive at the Trojan 43. Here it's 4th and 9 on the 29. Taylor finds Junior Tagaloa for the necessary yardage. Tagaloa almost drops the ball, but he completes the juggling act, and the Bears had a first down at the 19. 3 plays later, Cal again went for it on 4th down, this time needing 5 yards. The Bears would get 14 and 6 points. Taylor teams with Treggs again on the far side. Number 3 snakes into the end zone just inside the flag. The sophomore later described his 2nd score of the day and of his career.
We knew down in the critical zone, they like to play a lot of man-to-man. So, and plus there was a rookie corner over there, and it was his first time in the game, so we decided to pick on him a little bit. So what I did was I came down hard, and he wanted to be the All-American, stayed on my hips. So when I broke back out, I guess he got lost or something, and just so happened I scored.
Trailing by 18, the Bears went for the 2-point conversion, and they picked up the deuce on this Taylor flip to Woodall. With 10.5 minutes to go, California now trailed 31-15. After a USC punt, Taylor and Treggs went to work once more. Taylor underthrows the bomb just a bit, but Treggs makes a fine adjustment and an even better catch. It's worth 40 yards to the Trojan 46. Treggs gained 129 yards on his 3 receptions yesterday. A holding call then set the Bears back 10 yards, and SC then teed off on Taylor. Craig Hartsaker has the sack honors on first down for a loss of 6. The Bears would lose another half dozen on 3rd down. Dan Owens and Tim Ryan combined to reacquaint Taylor with the AstroTurf. The Trojans would get the ball again with 5.5 minutes left, and they then ran out the clock. After opening the season with a 1-point loss to Illinois, the Trojans have now won 5 in a row. Yesterday's final score once more, SC 31, Cal 15. USC has now won the last 4 meetings between the two schools, and the Trojans have won 11 of the last 12. We'll get Bruce Snyder's thoughts on yesterday's game when we return.
It's fueled the victories of Super Bowl champions and Sandlot superstars. It's as welcome on a hot cinder track as a cold sheet of ice. It is unsurpassed at supplying fluids, minerals, and energy. It goes beyond refreshment. It produces results. It's everywhere athletes compete. It's sports. It's Gatorade.
Gatorade is thirsty. For that deep down fighting thirst.
Talk about tricks of the trade. Cops in Florida are hauling in hookers and their clients, but the courts have a few tricks of their own. They convince the John to cut a deal. Then, when it's too late, comes the big surprise. The client's forced to walk the streets himself.
You will not have a driver's license for 1 year. I'm going to miss my driver's license right here.
The high cost of sex.
A Current Affair, Monday at 5:30 on KPIX Channel 5.
Family Feud, weekdays at 4 on 5.
Bruce Snyder spent the 1974 and 75 seasons as the running backs coach at USC. He has yet to beat his former employers in 3 tries as the Bears head coach. Steve Kroner spoke with Snyder after yesterday's game.
Well, Bruce, before the season, you said that USC would be the class of the league as you saw it. I guess today wouldn't change that prediction anyway.
Well, they have a great deal of experience. You know, that's really a veteran group. In fact, I was counting up the other day, I think Tim Ryan has played more college games than our entire offensive line put together. And he might be able to throw in the backs and the tight ends in there. So we're a relatively young team facing a talented but a very experienced group of players, too. So, no, I think they're really a fine football team.
How would you rate your team's overall performance today?
Well, you know, we're not very pleased at all. I'm not, and our players aren't. And that's why I like this team so much. I think they care a great deal. They know they didn't play very well today. And I know it, too, and I probably everybody that watched the game knows it. I think we maybe even tried too hard. You know, there's a certain lever that clicks that all of a sudden you do things that you're not supposed to do when you can get mentally or emotional or too emotional. And I'm not real sure that that happened to us, but it might have. We wanted it so badly that we made some errors that we just have not been making, and it really cost us.
Can you mention a specific example or two of that?
Well, I'm thinking mostly second quarter, where that was devastating to us. The second quarter, we too many missed tackles. We had been really improving as a tackling football team. No pressure on the quarterback, and we had been getting better at that. He had tons of time, but we weren't doing what we were supposed to do. The turnover just before the end of the second quarter was really devastating. Now, we were in a field goal range. We get 3 points out of that. May have certainly turned the halftime around. I think, as it turned out, it was terrible for us. So just some things of that nature that I think we maybe wouldn't normally do.
One bright spot today, the play of Brian Triggs. How has he improved in the last couple of weeks?
Well, you know, Brian is he's a real man, in my opinion. He had a great game today. Made some great catches, returned punts. And I think he's really a fine football player. And he cares very deeply about his teammates and about how he plays. And so I'm really proud of Brian. I think we'll find that most of the team played very hard. We just didn't play well enough.
You come out of this game, how's your injury status and maybe mentally going in for the next 5 games?
I think our feelings are hurt more than anything else. I think we'll probably wake up tomorrow morning and there will be some things that might hamper some practice time. But everybody walked in the locker room afterwards, which is a nice sign. And we'll just have to see how that goes tomorrow. In terms of Washington, I was talking to Larry Smith prior to the game. You know, they played Washington last week. He said they are very physical. They won today. So we've got our hands full, but we play them here, and we've got a great home record. We're going to reestablish that and get on a roll, and we're going to start with Washington.
Well, Coach, good luck against the Huskies, and we'll talk to you next week.
Good to be with you.
Troy Taylor remains the focal point of Bruce Snyder's offense. Taylor's talent obviously prevents the other Cal quarterbacks from getting much playing time. Our Inside Cal feature profiles one Golden Bear QB who has to get his kicks, helping Robbie Keane get his.
Ready? Set!
Robbie Keane has converted 27 of his 34 field goal attempts since the beginning of last year. But he's had a helping hand. Actually, 2 of them. Holder Ron Flores might go as unnoticed as the Maytag repairman, but number 14 knows how important his job is.
I have to be really accurate as far as putting the ball on the ground, and, you know, Robbie has to get the ball up because it's not on a tee anymore, it's on the ground. So there's a greater chance of, you know, people trying to block it from up top.
That battery or that unit between the snapper, the holder, and the kicker last year scored 89 points for us, and that's a lot of points. So that kind of tells you how important the job is. So we're happy to have Ron.
Flores is listed as the third-string quarterback. The senior, though, has thrown only 8 passes in his collegiate career. He'd obviously like to play more, but understands and accepts his role as a backup.
At times, yeah, it's frustrating, but, you know, I just figured, you know, Troy's a great quarterback. You know, there'd be a lot of quarterbacks backing him up. And, you know, I've just learned a lot from Troy as far as football goes. And, you know, I've tried to, last year or so, I've tried to just take it in stride, you know, because I realized that, you know, I've become a realist now and realized that, you know, football is not going to be in the future for me. So that's why I decided to try to concentrate a little bit more on baseball.
While Flores rarely uses his right arm on game days at Memorial Stadium, he uses it quite frequently and efficiently in the winter and spring at Evans Diamond. Baseball coach Bob Milano employed Flores as a reliever this past season, and Flores responded with a 2-0 record and a 3.55 earned run average.
He's a very gifted baseball arm. He's in the high 80s. Every once in a while he'll throw 90, 91. He's got great movement on his fastball. As the year went on, Ron became our stopper and did a great job for us.
Milano says Flores' football background helps him on the mound.
Ron and his tenacity on the mound shows you that football toughness, very competitive individual, and it's great to see. And if he can do it and do it academically, let him play as many sports as they can.
Flores may even have a shot at pitching in the pros. Still, you know the football Bears, particularly Robbie Keane, are glad Flores has put his baseball career where his football career is, on hold. Next week, the Bears will play their 3rd straight home game as Washington visits Berkeley. We'll preview the Huskies after these messages.
Cal Football 89, brought to you in part by UNICAL 76, inviting you to go with the spirit of 76. Coors, brewery fresh, pure and natural. It's a true American original. The 1990 Acura Legend and Integra, exclusively at your Northern California Acura dealers.
I like quiet little towns like Crescent Butte. Catching a live one out of the chute. Fireside chat, mountain air, hot dogs, and cold Coors beer. It takes a part of this country as cold and clean as the Rockies to brew a beer as pure and natural as Coors. Brewery fresh, just like you like it. Have an ice cold Coors with a friend of yours. A Rocky Mountain legend, an American original.
5, 6, 7, and come on, you can do it. 6, 7, again, 6, 7, 8.
After making it on Broadway, some of the finest entertainers around go off-Broadway. They appear on the pleasure ships of Norwegian Cruise Line. No other cruise line offers such entertainment. Norwegian Cruise Line, the best vacation you've ever had. Plus,
High school is just like a memory because...
So I went waiting to see Caroline, right?
No.
She wasn't there.
Every time I went to the prom, the girl was taller than me. I don't want to talk about it.
No, I said I'd like to find a dress. And she said, is this for your daughter or for your wife?
It's for my
wife! You know why we don't talk about women? You only talk about things you know about, right?
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Dog pile on John! Yeah!
1, 2, 3, 4. The 4-door Acura Integra, because growing into your future doesn't mean giving up your past. Test drive the sports car that fits a full life. Acura. For 3 straight years, #1 in overall customer satisfaction.
Tricks of the trade in Florida, the high cost of sex.
A current affair Monday at 5:30 on KPIX Channel 5.
Washington has gone through a roller coaster ride for the first 6 weeks of the season. After opening the year with impressive wins over Texas A&M and Purdue, the Huskies were nationally ranked. But Washington then suffered 3 straight losses before rebounding yesterday to knock off Oregon 20-14. So the Huskies will come to Memorial Stadium with a 3-3 record. Like Cal, Washington centers its offense around a senior quarterback. For the Huskies, it's number 10, Terry Conklin. Here he hits Mario Bailey in Washington's 19-6 thumping of A&M to open the season. Don James has built a reputation for having some of the best special teams play in the nation. At the L.A. Coliseum last week, the Huskies picked up a touchdown on a blocked punt. Tommy Smith not only blocked the punt, he corralled the football and went headlong into the end zone. Washington led SC 10-0 before losing 24-16. The Bears have not beaten Washington since 1976, suffering 8 losses in that span. Last year, Cal led 27-3 in the third quarter at Seattle before getting shocked 28-27. The Bears will try to atone for that loss next weekend in Strawberry Canyon. We hope you can make it to Memorial Stadium next Saturday and hope you'll join us next Sunday here on Cal Football 89. Thanks for watching today. I'm Joe Fonzie.